So I completely 100% and deep in my bones understand the impulse to be loyal to a particular tool brand. For example, I don't think anybody will ever be able to convince me to use a corded circular saw that isn't a Skill Worm Drive Mag 77 or whatever the newest iteration of that is. Part of the reason for that has got to be that my first job, I was working with Steve Hood and he had one and I was astounded. And then, like a year later, newly married, I had a 44 Magnum stuck in my face over whether or not I was taking this home. This very saw. And as you can see, I took it home. And as you can see, I'm not telling you the rest of the story right now, but from where I sit right now, the Skill Saw Mag 77 is my ride or die. I have so many memories of working with this tool, or one just like it. It feels like an extension of my arm and maybe even a physical embodiment of my career itself. I can't separate the two. I've always used one. And I've tried the Makita versions. I mean, they've been the company saw on different jobs and we tested one out. Nate has it now. I've tried all the sidewinders over the years. And yes, I put the cordless Makita in a slightly different category than my daily driver. So that's a different conversation, but I'm telling you now that I'm so loyal to this saw that not that they couldn't screw it up, but I don't see myself using anything any different very often. Now back in the 90s and early 2000, I became a pretty loyal Porter Cable customer. If I needed a new power tool and I can afford it, I was almost always buying the Porter Cable version. And I remained loyal right up until I bought this thing. So I had got a deal on a set of Hitachi cordless, I don't know, 99 or something, and they were okay. They were better than, the 9.6 volt Makitas that I'd been using up till then. And then I went Porter Cable cordless, and right away, the case went bad. The latches fell off, the hinges broke, and this little guy worked pretty good for a short while, and then one of the batteries went bad, and I was just so disappointed at the do-it-yourself feel that this thing had compared to the commercial grade Porter Cable that I had used before, that I began to look around. And yes, I've become disillusioned with Porter Cable now, but I'll give you an example of how loyal I still am to the old Porter Cable. I bought this off Craigslist 1 month ago. It's a like-new 690 Porter Cable router. I needed 2 more. I found 2 of them at cost. I mean, 2 of them way below replacement cost from back in the 90s and early 2000s. And this is a great router. But Porter Cable now, I'm afraid, is more suitable for homeowners than pros. So having said all that, and perhaps overemphasizing Porter Cable's fall from grace, if you're new to the trades, or if you're hiring a contractor, or if you're buying tools as a homeowner, here's where I'm at currently as far as the brands and big picture of tool selection generally. There's a Dutch saying, you bake with the flour you've got. There's an American West saying that you ride the horse you saddle. And so however these things work together, the more affordable tools, the Ryobis and the Rigids, now the Porter Cables, the house brands from Lowe's and Harbor Freight and the other places that sometimes we shop, they're more powerful and more ergonomic and better than anything we had available back in the day. And the barrier to entry is low because they're pretty cheap, and if they break, well, you expected that, and so you go get another one. They're not going to hold you back in any way whatsoever. And if you're early in your career, if it's all you can afford, or for some other combination of reasons you're pinching the pennies, you are going to get along well with almost anything you buy, at least long enough to get you out of the jam you're in. And then you can let your work speak for itself. Now the top of the line name brand tools, and I'm going to just sort of spit out there, Makita, DeWalt, Bosch, Milwaukee, Festool. I don't think you can go wrong with any of those guys. You get full status style credit when you walk onto the job with any of those tools. Now they're going to take a beating, they're liable to get stolen, but if they don't, they're going to last you for ages, and you will feel like the man every time you pull them out and go to work. Now these days, my cordless, my battery tools are all Makita. I got no complaints. Would I switch brands? Maybe. I don't see it happening anytime soon because I'm committed to the battery platform. I love teal blue. Maybe to Milwaukee. I know Phil Rokas loves his cordless Milwaukee tools, and they're good. Some of them are awfully heavy, maybe heavier than they need to be, but I mean, those red tools do stand up to abuse. Would I ever change from Skill Mag 77 for a corded circular saw? No. No. Would I change from my Miller welder? I don't see why. I mean, I've gotten great satisfaction from my MIG gun. For my nail guns, Hitachi, for me, every time. Now they're Metabow, but they're great tools. There are other great tools. So why wouldn't I change? Well, specifically my older Hitachis. I've sent several of them off the roof and they survive every time. In fact, the last time was at the Spec House. It fell 35 feet onto a boulder. We climbed down, we picked it up, we plugged it in, back to work. Didn't hiccup, didn't stutter, just got back on the job. Now, we did a podcast about this a couple years ago that I'll link you to. It explains my thoughts, a little deeper. We took a little more time. Although the bottom line, this is not an overly important conversation to me. Nobody should get exercised about this. I don't think about it a lot. I don't pay attention to the newest tools that each brand releases unless they change the battery platforms. I choose to get familiar with whatever my tools are capable of and whatever I'm capable of, and then sort of adjust my work and pace myself to that capability. Ride the horse you saddle. Bake with the flour you've got. Whatever you want to call it, just get the work done. Because it's a poor workman that blames his tools. Now, to wrap this up, it's perfectly fine to be loyal to a tool brand or a football team or a pickup, and I'm very interested to see what you all have to say about this, and I predict that there will be some very insightful, funny, and worthwhile comments in the section after we pull the trigger on this conversation. Thanks for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.